This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at an older figure from Masterverse. Part of the Masters of the Universe Revelation line of figures are Savage He-Man. Included with this figure is Crack Whore Orko. So the immediate issue with this figure also is that he is not big enough to actually be the Savage He-Man from the series in the first place. He should be more like the Incredible Hulk with the way they did it. On this side we just get the name because these were kind of boring boxes. On this side, we do get some artwork showing him looking more like he should have looked as the toy. Although for some reason, he's got 5 o'clock shadow in the artwork. And on the back, we get even more artwork. Savage He-Man, the most powerful primate in the universe. For years, it was assumed that Prince Adam could only call upon the power of Greyskull using the Sword of Power. But what happens if he did not raise aloft his magic sword and still said, by the power of Greyskull? The answer is Savage He-Man. A combination of primal rage and all the power in the universe. He-Man tears through Eternia in an uncontrollable rampage, leaving his friends hoping that Adam is in there somewhere. Let's go ahead and open this sucker up. Well, let's start with Crack Whore Orko here. This stand is absolute garbage. This peg, or this thing here, this is super loose, and that's ridiculous. It's going to affect your posability of this figure, and Orko is already lacking in posability. What the hell is that sticking out of the back of his hat? Yeah, so, spoiler alert. This is from when Orko was basically dying on Eternia because there was no magic left after Prince Adam died. Which was another kind of dumb story arc in that series. So this is definitely a case where it's all about balancing the figure on the stand, just because otherwise he's going to plop down. Alright. The stand is articulated. We go back and forth like this. And it would be kind of nice if, you know, it wasn't as loose as, well, I'll let you fill that in. The head does appear to be on a ball joint with quite a bit of range of motion, actually, because we can look up and down pretty well. The scarf does interfere with that. You can look all the way around. The hat and the head are a single piece, it looks like, or at least glued together. The arms are on a ball joint and can kind of move up, down, a little bit forward, and a little bit back. Everything is interfered with by the scarf. And that is Crack Whore Orko. Our Savage He-Man here. Now this is weird, though, to be perfectly honest with you, because at the Chicago Toy Show, more than one occasion, I have seen this figure going for $100 while still available like on Amazon and Target for a hell of a lot less, like 30 bucks. So I don't know why they were selling this for so much money. He's got these kind of open clawed hands initially on him. I'm going to raise the camera a little bit more here. And he's got some giant feet. So if you've got a foot fetish, this is the figure for you, especially if you like them dirty. He does come with a pair of holding hands so that you can give him his axe, the Sword of Power, which you wouldn't have in this form anyway, and the spear. Now obviously the Savage He-Man is designed specifically after our first appearance of He-Man in the mini-comics and the version of this that they did in the Classics series. I was going to say classified. Alright, so his hands do have in and out articulation. I will swap out one hand here so that he does hold stuff. And we will start with articulation. He does have that kind of like long ball jointed thing in his neck, which allows for up and down here. However, You know, hold on, let me pop this off. So I just want to point out, this is a new sculpt. They made them pretty much the same as the original versions. I think they added the, and I wish I had the like original one here. Looks like they added kind of like the upper shoulder part muscles here. Kind of like the way Sergeant Slaughter has those or whatever on the G.I. Joe Classified line. But the neck is pushed forward. Which... with the hair, he's always looking kind of downward and not forward. So you have to kind of bend the torso back a little bit. I don't know. This is just kind of weird. If they're going to go through the effort to resculpt the body, why didn't they just go ahead and go all out and make it bigger? You could have charged like a deluxe figure pricing for a Hulk version of He-Man and left Orko off to the side. But then again, they probably wanted to get Crack Whore Orko in there, and, you know, who else were you going to put him with, right? He can hold the spear just fine. Honestly, he'd be fine for just a Savage version of He-Man, period, you know, in your collection, not the Revelation version of Savage He-Man. Spear doesn't look too bad, though. And it does seem to be a new sculpt. He has a boob cut, which gives us a little bit range of motion, but again, we mostly have to like bend it as back far as it could go to get the head looking anywhere near up. His arms have a hinge going up and down. It can spin all around. We've got the bicep cut here. Double jointed elbows. Straighten that out. Waist swivel. Thigh cut. He does not have drop-down hips like some of the more recent figures have had. It's interesting that they've been adding kind of like the drop-down hips to some of the more recent Masterverse figures while removing articulation from the female figure's arms. His skirt is split so that he can actually kick out pretty nicely. He can kick forward about that far. And he can kick back about that far. Thigh cut. Double jointed knee. Spin at the boot cut, which looks kind of funny since, you know, there's no boot. Hinge at the ankle. Very, very dirty paint in the in that joint. And of course it can spin around. And he's got peg holes or really bad splinters. Cannot forget that he does have, while not a traditional He-Man axe, something relatively close to it. And it is big. I think it's actually about... I think the axe head is probably bigger than like the ones that came with the vintage style He-Mans, and I think that's a little bit better. Of course, he can also hold the Revelation sword, which makes no sense, because again, remember, this version of He-Man was not supposed to have the power sword. I don't think he even had the spear in this show either, to be honest with you, but again, they wanted to give us a Savage He-Man, and so they did. So overall, I think he's a decent display figure for your collection, but that's about it. He does not fulfill the promise of the character in the show at all, and he comes with a really terrible Orko figure. Like, God, I cannot believe how bad this stand actually is. I don't know why they decided to sculpt it so his neck moved forward. I'm guessing that they thought that that would make it look a little bit more savage-like. Or who knows, maybe by some weird, odd thing, I've got a version that where the neck's messed up and melted into position or some weird crap like that, but I don't think so. But why don't you guys tell me what you think of this figure? I was not a big fan of the Revelation cartoon in the first place, but they did create some decent figures from it. I don't think I would consider this to be one of them, though. They could have done a better job on him. But again, if they were trying to replicate the character from the show, he should have been a hell of a lot bigger than this. Because I think even, I think when he had the power too, if I remember correctly, I only watched the show once, he was also like 50% taller than the other characters too. So he was a big muscle-bound monster like the Hulk. And that's what they should have done if they were going to do this. Otherwise, you should have just put him out as a new Eternia Savage He-Man and been done with it. I don't know if we ever really needed this Orko in the first place. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this review, please feel free to magic that like button. And if you want to hear more of my nonsense, that subscribe button is down below. And of course, there will be one that pops up at the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Peace and love.